have amazed seeing these beautiful pictures of our universe. These pictures are taken from Hubble Space Telescope, which was launched in 1990. But it got off to a very rocky start. The first images sent by the telescope were fuzzy because of the edges of the mirror were too flattened by only 2.2 microns, means 1 by 50th of the thickness of our hair. So therefore, the first service mission was set in the year 1993 to rectify the same, and it costed an additional amount of $50 million. Now you can see a small error in the measurement may cause huge difference. So to understand the errors in the measurement, let's learn together errors in measurement. I will start with a very simple example which I have taken in my previous video. Here the length of the pencil we measured it as 17.2 centimeter. But if we see closely, the digit 2 is uncertain. It could be 17.18. So this uncertainty in the measurement is known as errors in the measurement. Remember that errors in the measurement is not the mistakes in the measurement. To understand the measurement better, here I have the three measurements: 2.5 centimeter, 2.50 centimeter, 2.500 centimeter. These are the measurements of the diameter of the coin. Mathematically, there is no difference in their magnitude. Reported measurement not only tells about the magnitude but also inform about the instrument which you have been used to measure the quantity. Here 2.5 centimeter tells us the instrument which you have used to measure it, it can measure up to only first decimal place. Though the 2.50 centimeter means the instrument you have used, it will measure up to the second decimal place. Similarly, 2.500, the instrument like a screw gauge must have been used, which can measure up to the third decimal place. So all the measurements not only carry the information about the measurement but also about the instrument which is being used to measure it. There are two terms which are always associated with the measurement: the accuracy and the precision. And sometimes it is taken as synonyms, though they are different from each other. To understand this, here I have an example where the diameter of the coin, which is 2.5 centimeter, is measured by two people. The first person reports the measurement as 2.50 centimeter and the other person reports the measurement as 2.48 centimeters. So here you see which is more closer to the true value. Obviously the first person. So 2.50 is more accurate, while the other person decides to use the better instrument so that he can go up to the third decimal place. And he reports the measurement now 2.482 centimeter. Therefore, the accuracy of the measurement, it measures how close the measured value to the true value, while the precision of a measurement, it tells us to what resolution of limit the quantity is being measured. Actually, the accuracy is related to the true value, that how close the measured value to the true value, while precision is more related to the instrument which you have used to measure. Let's see the types of errors in the measurement. The first type is systematic errors. These are those errors which tend in the same direction, either positive or negative.
For example, a faulty weighing machine is used to measure the weight. Mr. Kumar, his wife, and his daughter measured their weight by using the same machine. They measured it as 72 kg, 56 kg, and 23 kg. Here we have to add 1 kg in each measurement because weighing machine reads 1 kg less than the actual reading. So this is an example of systematic error. Here you can see the error is moving in one direction, that is minus 1 kg. And let us see some main causes of the systematic error. The first cause is the instrumental error. It can be zero error in the instrument, imperfect design or calibration of the instrument. Zero error in the instrument means the initial value does not start with the zero. Here we have the example in the vernier calipers when the main scale 0 does not start with the vernier scale 0. Another example we have an old wooden scale. Here you can see its initial value does not start with 0. Let us see the second example of this instrumental error. It is imperfect design or calibration of the instrument. For example, an ammeter in a circuit. We know that the ammeter should not provide any additional resistance to the circuit, but it is impossible, though a good ammeter will provide the least resistance in the circuit. Another example is the calorimeter. In an ideal calorimeter, there is no loss of heat due to radiation. So if the insulation of the radiator is not perfect, it may add some systematic errors in the measurement. Next is the imperfect calibration of the instrument. The calibration means the comparison of the measuring device against a traceable reference device. In simple, marking the graduation of a measuring instrument is called calibration. For example, to calibrate a thermometer, it is first kept to the ice which is non-temperature of 0 degrees Celsius, then it is kept into the boiling water which is 100 degrees Celsius. Later, this 0 to 100 degrees Celsius is divided into 10 or 100 parts as a marking of the thermometer. Another example is the spring balance. Without weight, we mark it as 0 gram. Then we hang a non-weight, for example 1000 gram, and we mark it as 1000 gram. And then we divide the 0 to 1000 into 100 divisions. Now the imperfect calibration of the instrument. Here we have the new spring balance with a non-weight which reads as 500 gram. Though the old spring balance which is repeatedly used, so if there is a permanent extension in the spring and it will give more than 500. So we have to calibrate the instrument time to time. Let's see this example. Here the doctor measured the temperature of the body of a child by keeping the thermometer into the arm. It will give a temperature lower than the actual value, and doctors read the temperature by adding some amount in it. Now the personal error that arises due to an individual vice, lack of proper setting of the operators, individual carelessness in taking observations. The most common personal error is the parallax. Here you can see the second needle changes its position if you change your position. Another example is the spring balance. You see that the reading, if you take from the down, it will be more, or if you take from the top, it may be little less. So while taking the observation, we have to keep the eye parallel to the pointer and the scale. So here in this example, the correct reading is 12 gram. These were the few examples of systematic error. Apart from systematic error, there are random errors. The random errors are those errors which occur irregularly and hence are random with respect to range and order of time interval and sign and size. Their causes are unknown, and if you repeat the experiment, every time there must be some random error in your observation. These are arises due to random and unpredictable fluctuations in experimental conditions, for example, unpredictable fluctuations in temperature, water supply, mechanical vibrations of the experimental setup. There may be a voltage fluctuations while doing the Ohm's experiment. You are measuring the time period of the simple pendulum in your laboratory, and somebody enters your lab so that the air blow in, and it may lead to random error in the time period of the simple pendulum. After random errors, we have the least count error. Least count error is associated with the resolution of the instrument. What is least count actually? The least count is the minimum value that can be measured by an instrument. Least count error is actually a kind of random error, but within the limit. Okay, now to understand it properly, we can see the example of your simple scale. We measured a length of a line segment which is 7.1 centimeter, but as we have seen in the beginning of our lesson that there is always chances of plus minus 0.05 centimeter in it. Here I have to tell you one logic. Since we are measuring the length of the line segment by using the simple scale, and it should be up to the first decimal place. So when we are adding or subtracting the least count error, your result should be up to the first decimal place. It means it could be either 7.0 or 7.2. Similarly, we have the example of the spring balance where the least count is 0.2 Newton or the 20 gram force. So you can see how the least count error is being added in that. Another example of your stopwatch. This is the example of the ammeter where the least count is 0.2 ampere and how we represent the least count error in that. At last, the takeaway from systematic error versus random error.
It always affects the measurement in the same amount or by same proportion. Random error, it causes one measurement to differ slightly from the next. It is predictable and it comes from unpredictable changes. Systematic errors can be minimized by knowing the cause and selecting the better instrument, improving experimental techniques, and removing personal bias as far as possible. Though the random errors can be minimized by increasing the sample size and taking the average of the data or by using the graphs. As you would have done in case of the finding the unknown resistance by using the Ohm's law experimental setup, you would have a set of V and I and you would have drawn in the graph and you know the dependence of I over V and you drew the line and find the resistance finally. Thank you.